Good afternoon, traders, and happy Valentine's Day this February 14th, 2019. I hope that you're with your significant other and will be enjoying this evening. But before we enjoy the evening, we wanted to make some money, whether it was the morning, afternoon, or mid-afternoon. Um, we're all about making money, so you can have a really great meal tonight and flowers and whatever else that you want to do. So anyway, it was a really good day in the room, and I was really impressed with a lot of the plays that we did. Um, it's hard every day to not hard, but it's a challenge. Let's put it that way. It's a challenge every day to do better than you did yesterday. And as a trader, um, I find that a lot of fun because I personally want to excel and get better as a trader, and I pretty much do. But, when you're in a great room like this, and I mean, Monday was amazing, Tuesday was amazing, Wednesday was amazing. And just you have to come in and just keep grinding. It's a grind. You got to keep finding the best setups, best plays, and every day I have to, you know, I I give 250% to the chat room. I give everything I have. I find and locate, 12 ideas, some stocks a lot of traders have never even heard of, never even thought of. Um, and my job is, very gratifying because I get to introduce, and I think that's really a great word to use today. And I get to introduce different types of trades every day. I mean, if you could sit there and talk to any subscriber, whether you're in um, Discord or in the room itself, or you're out in public, and you would say, what is the one thing about that room other than the great moderators and AJ and how it's set up? What really stands out? And I think what you all can agree as traders is the ability to say, he introduces us to such a variety of ideas and stock ideas and trades that we've never heard of, because he himself is trading things he's never heard of. But because of his knowledge and background, he's able to trade it and introduce that trade to all of us and introduce the idea. And that is what we call growth. Um, you know, Again, we talked about this yesterday. You can get up, walk in a room, and they're going to pull up Nevada, Facebook, and you know Amazon, and they're going to do the same play, make 50 cents, 60 cents, and then sell you. That's all you need. Or they're going to get up and pump a stock, have it run, and then they're going to short the backside of it and make all the money because they need the people in the room to pump it, and then they want to go in the backside and dump it when they say that the ride is over. That's not trading. Yes, is it a way to make a living? If you want to call it that. I can't, if a person takes Facebook and makes 60 cents on it and does 10,000 shares, can I say you made 6 grand? I mean, can I really down that person? No, but can you really trade 10,000 on the equity? I mean, or do you got to have to buy a ton of call buying for that 60 cents? I mean, realistically, a day trader trying to trade that is going to probably make maybe at the most 300-400 bucks, $200. But again, it's important that you're introduced to such a variety of stocks. I mean, I'm going to show you some stocks that if you had taken 1,000 shares, for instance, you would have made more money on these Facebooks. And as far as trying to short the backside in something when everyone else is trying to get the same number and short it, you could have literally just came in the room, bought a stock, and I'm going to show you. MTFB was our number one pick. I got in the room. I took the stock around $2.22, and I just put it in the room and said, "Look, traders, I see this going to 3, maybe 3.50, and we'll be done with it." And that's it. Whether we hit it in pre-market or the market open, that's where I'm going to see it, and then we're done with it. I'm going to sell all the way up to 3 plus, and then I'm done. You could take 1,000 shares on that stock, and I'll show you. Here's the call right here. And it was the very first thing I did when I walked in the room. Not only did I take the position, but I also went over the position, and then I told everyone where it was going to go. And now, if your account is trading Facebook, for instance, and you can only buy 200 shares or 100 shares, You could have came over here and bought 1,500 shares when I told you to buy at 2 or 220, and you would have made, let's say, let's just say 80 cents to 3. So you would have made $1,600. So with less money used for the trade, I mean, what do you need? $3,500 buying power, and you would have only needed $500 in the cash account, maybe $300. $300, yeah, about $400 in a cash account. 6 times buying power is 2,400. You would have needed 2,400 to buy the stock. So on $600 cash account, you could have, in this chat room, if you had taken 1,000 or 1,500 shares, you would have made $600 on your $600. You would have made 100% return on your money, and that's what this room does on a stock. And I'll be real honest with you, I never even traded. I didn't even know MTFB existed, but it doesn't matter. When I look and hunt for trades in the morning, I'm looking for gap downs. I didn't see that trade until all of a sudden I just saw a big thing come across CNBC, and then I saw a halt on my scans, and then I saw it come down in the 2s and 190s, and that's what I saw. And I'm like, oh, and then I wanted to immediately went into what's the problem, and they got a CRL letter. This is a response letter, a concern response letter to the company that they have concerns of the drug that they're trying to either fast track or move forward. It could be the labeling. It could be just issues that they have. And but what you have to understand, and I'm really gonna go over what a complete response letter really does. It's basically okay. I want you to put it in concept. All right, because a lot of you don't understand this. All right. It's basically, and especially if it's a phase 1 or phase 1.5 or phase B, it's kind of, it's a little punch in the face, but it's also, it can be rectified and fixed if assuming the company wants to fix it. Okay. And so let me kind of go over. So let's just say you do a homework. Okay. You're in college, or you know, you're doing a homework, and or an essay or a thesis, and or whatever, and you write this big report for 4 pages, and you turn it into the professor, and the professor looks at it and goes, you know what, I will pass this and even give you a really decent grade, but you need to fix this content. And they circle all these things, and you got to fix this, you go do that and come back to me, and I will take care of you. Okay, that's how you have to look at a CRL letter from the FDA. It's basically a report given to them saying, these are the deficiencies that we're seeing. If you want us to approve your drug or move forward on it, you need to fix these areas. So what does that mean? Well, you got to read the indication from the company. MTFB, Motive Bio, plans to request a meeting with the FDA as soon as possible to discuss potential options to address the deficiencies. That told me right there, at that second I read that headline, pre-market, was I can get a bounce. If the company had said, you know what, oh well, you know what, fuck it, we're not going to do it anymore, then you don't buy the stock. You just let it die. Okay, but they didn't say fuck it. Right? They said, and I quote, we're planning to request a meeting with the FDA as soon as possible to discuss potential options to address the deficiencies. That's what they said. So what does that mean? That means it didn't matter what size account you had. If you had a 10,000 account, a 2,000 account, a 5,000 account, an 8,000 account, a 20,000 account, a 50,000 account, or $1 million account, if you just bought 1,000 shares at $2.20, you would have made anywhere from $700 to $1,000, and the market hadn't even opened. And you want to see it? Okay, so follow the lead. Everyone had it in the morning, 220 long. Okay, the 2 was already gone. By the time I was typing it, it was being bought up. So, but the 223s, 225s, and 230s were all available. And look at the stock. Okay, so here we go. It is MTFB, and this is the night before, so you can see it. And MTFB here, and this is the long alert right here, the 220 area, and the stock ran to $303.30. And that's your trade. You literally could have been done before the market even opened. Do you realize that? Everyone in Awesome Calls Trading and all the chat rooms that follow us, and just could you imagine? You wouldn't have had to wait for your mod to pop a stock and pump it and do all these stupid things. You could have been in our room and been done. And I was writing that at 10 minutes to 6 this morning, California time. That's just one. You want to see, I'm going to show you the best call I have done in my career. I mean, this was a career for me. Career. I've never, I mean, this one took me to a whole nother level. Okay, a whole nother level. The stock is called Solo. Yesterday, Raphael and B Trades were running the stock off news around 8:30 in the morning regarding about the electrical car, something Bloomberg likes it, whatever. So the stock was grinding, chat rooms were playing it, but it never really caught my attention. It never caught my attention. I just kind of, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, we had a hell of a day. We were already scored about 80, 90, 110 points worth of trades. So this one just kind of, it didn't really grasp me. And then about, I think it was about 12:20. I had just finished the webinar, took a break, came back, and B Trades hit me up and said, "Boss, can you just look at this? Please, just look at it. Just look at it." And I looked at it. And do you know the call that I made at $3.30? And you can ask the room. You know the call that I made? I said, I like it. And that's all I have to say. Because when you're the badass trader that I am, you don't need to say much. So all I said was, I fucking like it. And the whole world just went crazy. Because we're Awesome Calls Trading. That's why we're called Awesome Calls. I mean, Jesus. Okay? And not only did I like it at 320, 330, I even told everyone in the chat room, this will continue to be bought up all the way till 5 o'clock Pacific time. That's what I said. And you could doubt, you can hate, you could say bullshit, you can call, yeah, you're full of crap, but that's what I said. I have seen these type of plays. This is where 15 years of trading kicks in. Not somebody's been trading for 2 or 3, or somebody's finally had a good year after a year, and now they want to teach everyone because they're the mentors now. No, this is 15 years. This is a trader that has seen this before and have watched this and has studied. It literally took me a few moments, and I said, it's done. And sure as shit, the stock ran all the way to 580 from 330. Okay, so this morning, what I looked for was, I know a lot of traders wanted to short the stock, but I also knew we had some that missed the play yesterday and kind of wanted to binge trade it, even though we don't like to use that term, binge. But it was one of those stocks that I said, look, traders, if it pops to 575, just under 6, go ahead and take it long and just take it. And it probably would hit $7 before it collapses. It had one more day to run it. Not run it, but at least get you that pop. And so not only did I give yesterday's call at 3:30, then I said on Solo, that um, if it opens toward 525 and under, watch for the 575 area to go long and take it towards the 7 spot, and then have fun with it. And that's it. I didn't call a 9 or 10 or $20 price target or anything like that. I gave it one last opportunity for traders to get into there and make some money. And sure as shit, 575 right there. Buyer came in and whoop, ran up a point before it died off. So really, truly a very special play for a trader like me. And I hope that I can do it more often, you now that I know what to look for. And as far as trying to teach what I looked for, there's so many entities I was looking at and looking for. Um, but it turned out to be the best call. And I think all you have your favorite calls that I've done, but this took me to a whole nother dimension of trading. So the next trade that I did was a couple of them. So I'm going to go over NATAP. Now NATAP is a lot of you don't know. NATAP is a nice Wall Street likes NATAP. There's certain stocks that Wall Street likes, and I mean Wall Street, like the investors out there, that if it falls to a certain area, they will eat the stock up and they'll buy it. And this morning in pre-market, the stock had came down to 61 right here before the opening bell. And when the bell came, it hit 61 again. So I like that 61 area to go long. And then I told everyone, not only do I want you to go long at that area, I also want you to add on the dip and hit 59. So you could have a nice average of 60. And with the 60, you should get a nice 63, $64 play in it because they will buy up the stock. And I'll show you what I wrote on NATAP. I would label long 61, room to 59, and the stock will go to 64 in top. You see it? That's it. Could you imagine how many shares you could have traded versus Facebook for 60 cents? I mean, just looking at that call alone, do you see the trade? 61, dip it to 59, 60 average, and guess where it hit? 64.03. You see, this isn't magic. I did this yesterday. I did this the day before. I did this on Monday. I will continue to do this every day for this room, for every subscriber that walks in. And I don't need to sell you or cross-sell you a DVD. I need to teach you live how the trade develops, what to look for, because you're already paying money to be in a room. You don't need extra paychecks. The mod. I get so pissed off when somebody goes, "Well, if you got my DVD or got my special thing I just made to show you." No, dude, stop talking like that to me. I know you're broke and you live in a little tiny house and you drive a shitty car, but stop. I'm not here to pay your bills. All right. I see the stock. I want to know how you made that stock work. What were you looking for? How did you know it would hit here and here? Because certain stocks get bought up. And this is one that gets bought up on weakness, and you need to know that. And so by knowing that, then I look at the analysts and I see how they reviewed each the earnings themselves. And then from there, I can develop a plan because then I'll know the range of the stock. And that's when I knew that it would not be a short for today. It would be an all day long to $64 a share. And so now that I know that and I've taught that and I wrote it down and I educated the trader, now the trader will remember on the next quarterly. Oh, I remember that stock. And see, and that's where the process begins. Because then the next time it comes up, they'll be able to look at that. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Oh, yeah, that's one does this. That's right. This gets bought up, and boom, therein lies the journey. I'm going to show you another one. It's called Hubs. I took this in pre-market at 163, and Hubs is what we call a block trade. All right, but what I loved about Hubs, not only was it a block trade, it was a block trade from, I believe, Morgan Stanley, and I want you to see what a block trade looks like. First of all, I want you to see the call. Okay, so let's see. This was my number, yeah, my number 2 pick. It was a 1.7 million block trade at 165 a share for Morgan Stanley. So it was already damping down 8. So it was already at 163. I took it at 163 and I did it in pre-market. And I told everyone, if it dips to 160, don't panic. Get in there and buy it. All right. You'll get a 161 average, 162, and you can take the stock to 165 plus. It will go back up because I already have the amount of shares and I know it's a block trade. Now, how do I know that? Well, I saw it gapping down. So I go to my scan. See, I'm teaching you. I'm not telling you go buy a DVD. I'm going to teach you how the trade was developed. I look up at the screen. CNBC shows a 6.8 point gap down on a stock, on a $170 stock. Okay. Now I want to see why. I come over here. I go to my scan. A scan that if you're an annual subscriber, I pay for. So it's not like you're even paying for it. I punch up Hubs. I click it. I go down. And there it is. All right. And there it is. Let me show you. I want to show you exactly how to read it. There it is. Hub, block trade. See it? It says right there. Gives me the price, tells me how many, and tells me who's doing it. Morgan Stanley. You see that? Do you see how much you just learned right there? You've never traded this in your life. But now look at you. You're going, damn. So AJ's getting $2 underneath the actual trade itself. And he's telling us if it dips even more, add some because he already knows the stock's going to go to 165. So instead of trading Facebook for 50 cents, you could trade the same price stock at Hubs and get 4 points. You see the difference? Do you want to see the trade? Look what happened. Here's the gap down, right? Right there. Here's the entry, 163, and guess where it went? $166.50. That's a trade. Welcome to day trading. I gave you the reason, I gave you the entry, I gave you the exit, and I gave you the why. I gave you everything. And you know what? I even taught you how to trade a block trade. You guys didn't see one this morning, and it was too late for me to tell you. It was Mayock. Guess what? A lot of you didn't even see this morning. And by the time I was getting ready to write it, and it was on my list, it was gone already. It got bought up by the institutions. And do you know why? It was a block trade. Imagine if you got this one this morning. And I really wanted the chat room to have this. I did. I promise you. But it moved too fast because it was too thin. And by the time I probably would have announced it, it probably would have already been at the peak. It was a block trade. A lot of you didn't see that this morning. I'll show it to you. And if you could find these in the morning, these block trades, oh my God, you will make so much money because you could just size 1,000 shares. And look, it's right there. 4.2 million block trade, 38.50 to 39 range. And guess who did it? Morgan Stanley. You see that? And they even upped the size to 2 million shares more. And you could have had it at 39, and look what the stock did. $43 a share on a block trade. Isn't that dope? I bet after today you'll never forget what a block trade is, huh? All right. We had another stock called Fossil. You know those watches at Macy's, Target, JCPenney, Fossil. Well, every year they disappoint. Every quarter. I don't know. They're just I don't know. It's just don't sell enough watches. And eventually they'll go, bye-bye. but it's a nice trade. Um, One thing you have to understand about Fossil is once it hits a certain price target, the stocks usually get bought up. And this took a beating yesterday from 16, and a lot of shorts were in it. If you look at the last 20 days, I mean, they were swarming in the stock here. They were just, oh my goodness, 18, 19, 16, 17. I mean, they just were piling in the shorts. The put action alone was pretty significant. Um, so for me, I saw long. I didn't see anything else. Just long the stock, and if it dipped to 11, 11.50, and you know what I found when I was looking at the stock? I said the stock's going to go to 14 to 14.50 today. That's what I said. So if it dips, you can buy some at the open, let it dip even more, add into it, have an average. The stock will go to 14 to 14.50, and that's what I wrote. You know, plain as day. Fossil. The stock will push to 14 to 14.50 today. If it dips below the buying entry and hits 11.50, don't worry. The stock will go to 14 to 14.50. Once it goes there, then you can fade the stock. But until then, the stock is going to 14 to 14. How do I know that? 15 years of trading. I will continue to pound that in your head because the majority of you that are watching this webinar have not even traded more than 2 or 3 years. Maybe some of you 4 or 5. But when you're at 15 years, going on 16, this is the kind of caliber trader you become. You can adapt to any situation, look at any stock, and make an analysis. And that stock is like a program to you. And I want you to look at the stock now. 14 to 14.50. You know, when you look at these webinars and you look back and you can go, Jesus, how did I miss that? Jesus, how did I miss that? Man, I could have done 2,000 shares. Hey, you're in the process of learning. And most important, you have to trust me. Every day when people come into the room, you know, they've heard stories about this magician trader who just calls out these plays out of just fucking pure, thin air. He sees the play before it develops. I got to witness it for myself. And so the process begins. I have to teach you. Then I have to gain your trust. And then I have to show you over and over, which is why now I'm doing these webinars. Because one day you'll get it. You'll get it. And instead of just looking at a chart and going long, you'll actually know the reason behind it. Just like I said yesterday, you can make such a significant living in this room by buying decent positions in stocks like this. If you had bought 500 shares, you would literally be up $750 today if it hit 14.50, which is 14.48 right now. 14 to 14.50. Let's do another one because this is really kind of, honestly, it's a lot of fun. This stock is called Yete. I don't know if you ever heard it. Raphael's been sharing this one with us for the last couple weeks to keep an eye on earnings. And earnings, they did good. They did good. But to me, when a stock gaps up, I'm always about the short side of the stock. I'm really a fan of that. And so I had a gap up here, and I was all about the short in the morning. I mean, I wanted to nail that. So what I told everyone to do was the stock's going to pop to 21 to 22 at the open. When it hits right there, short the stock, and it'll come down hard. And that was pretty much the play. I wanted it to come down, I believe, to I think I was looking for a 19, maybe 1940 spot, and it ended up really stopping around 1986. It didn't want to come anymore, and it really held itself right there at the 20 spot. So I do think the stock ends up going higher. They had really good earnings. I do think we'll get some analyst upgrades on it, and the stock is being held up around the 2150 area right now. But the most significant for us is the quick trade in and out and to make money. Okay, so I want you to actually see how I wrote this one up on Yete. I wanted the stock to pop towards 22 area, scale in short, and take it down to 1925, and then long it. That's pretty much the call. I really wanted traders to really get in there and make good money, and we had quite a few that nailed the short, and so I want you to see how it worked out. Ding, 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 and the stock hit $21.74, just under 26 cents on my hit. It came all the way down to $19.86. A really nice play. A really nice play. So I do think the stock goes end up going higher, and you could see it made a nice run to 22. So you could have played it on that if you, since it really held the area and went long and still made money. But I really think it'll go higher from here, in my opinion. And I believe the next one was Six Flags. Now this one was, I got to give props where it's due. My morning notes were Six had really missed. And Six is kind of a little bit like NATAP. They do like the stock, but for whatever reason, their guidance really was off. And the conference call didn't go well. But I thought that we could get a pop in the stock. And I was along at 53, and I wanted everyone to acknowledge that if this hits 53, go long, because the stock should bounce to 55, 56. What made this trade even better was we have a great moderator in here by the name of Bank the Trade, Palmer. And Palmer, this was his pick that he liked out of the 12, and he went for it. And he saw 53.26 here being nicely done, and the stock ended up going to 56.50 for a nice paycheck. Really impressive trade by Palmer. A nice alert. A lot of people make money even up to 55 level. It was just a wonderful trade. And this is the epitome of trading. I mean, this is what you live for. You get a great moderator. He comes in, he eyeballs it, he studies it, he calls it out, tells you he takes it long, and screenshots it, and then he just walks it up with you. And I put it on screen, it hits 55. It is the best feeling in the world. Not only just to be right, but to actually help others make money when they're having maybe a bad day in another chat room. And if you see the call in the notes, it said the same pretty much thing on 6 right there. If it opens and hits the 53 level, go long and take it to, I wanted 59 to 60 if it popped. But long at around the 53, you can even nibble some at 55, have an average of 54, and the stock hit 56. So you would have made good money on the stock either way. If it did pop and short cover at the open to 58, 59, I want you to short it. Because I figured, well, if it pops, just short cover it, let them cover it, and then just fade the stock. But meanwhile, if you had taken the 55 and it hit the 59.60, you run the money anyway. But if it dropped to 53, don't even worry, and you have a 54 average, and you'll still get 56 on it, 55, 56, which is what you did. So, and last but not least, we want to short Cyber. Okay, we all do. But I want you to look at my call. Okay, this is our whirlpool today, and a lot of us have not in our great chat room. We're not really short the stock right now because we recognize when you have a locomotive train, you can't get in front of it. All right, and we've experienced it with Whirlpool just 3-4 weeks ago, so we're not going to get in front of it, but we're going to wait for it. But I just kind of want you to know that the call was to go to 102, right, with room to 105 before we consider any kind of short. And I want you to see what the stock just hit. And this was all pre-market planned before the market even opened. And look at Cyber right now. 105, 102, 105. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let it play out, see if it's got a little bit more room. We think it's got some more. And then we're going to probably overnight a short. Might gap up a little bit, and then we get the yank in the morning. Just like Whirlpool. Whirlpool did the same thing. I'll show you that trade. Here's the Whirlpool trade. So we're going to present this one to you tomorrow. You see how Whirlpool just went crazy? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, and that's what you got developing here right now with Cyber. Okay, here's the crazy, and the very next day, boom, See that? So Cyborg's going to go boom. But we'll show you tomorrow. Other than that, those were our great ideas today. We had over a dozen. And I want to thank a couple of the subscribers in the room, and especially I have a lot of doctors in Awesome Calls Trading, but a special shout out to Dr. T. Michelle. She's a great doctor and really happy she's a part of our world. And she wrote me a nice email, very kind, and also in the room if I could just get in and finish the notes earlier. And lately, I've been finishing 8 to 10 minutes before the opening bell. Today, I was actually should have been done, but I was trading. I was trading MTFB, I was trading Hubs, and I was trading. I think it was Adobe short. So, uh, sometimes it's a little hard for me because I got to get in and out of the positions, and that takes a few minutes. But it's been working really well for the room. The room has been very happy, and those minutes really can make a difference of better entries. So other than that, that was the pre-market game plan for today. So in recap, solo we will do a 2-day chart because of what we called yesterday, breaking out from 320 all the way to 580 and then upping to 6. NATAP 6, SIX, Fossil, Hubs, MTFB, and Yeti. Those will be the 7 charts for tonight. I want to thank you for joining us today at awesomecallstrading.com. And if you ever want to be a part of our room, all you have to do is click here on any of our pre-market notes or any of my sites. And it's $25 for a day. And if I can convince you that we're the greatest room in the world, click over to a month and we'll give you back your 25. And yesterday, pretty much today would be free. If you do it for a week, I will give you 1 week for $100. And if you convert to a monthly, you get that whole week for free, and then you don't have to. The rest of the month's $97. Um, Other than that, I can't tell you. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. So I have to top what I did today, and you know what? I will, because I'm trading with some of the greatest traders all over the planet in our room. It's just a wonderful room. Not to mention the 14 other chat rooms that are here every day. So, and I want to also thank them for contributing to our great plays because let's face it, you can't trade worth shit in your rooms, so you need this room, and I get it, but you're actually helping us make more money on our plays because we get in first, and you're chasing our stuff. So, but thank you for helping us make even more money on our stocks. It's really a pleasure. Okay. Other than that, my Twitter feed is AJTrader7, as you can see, and that's it. So, thank you so much for being a part of our great room, and I look forward to trading with you tomorrow. And enjoy and happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Okay?